guess or you will make an educated guess. Kasi nga, ano tayo,
Yes.
ano naman tayo, nakikita mo naman na manggagaling na ng mga audience natin. They're getting very, very high scores these days. And may topic tayo ngayon. So, andun tayo na nasa tema tayo ng glossary of legal terms, but in alphabetical order. So I will give a list 10 words in alphabetical order, and I will give a definition or give a statement about it. Pwede siyang totoo o pwede siyang haka-hakalan. And later on, I will explain why. So without further ado, let's start again. Start the quiz. Ito na naman tayo. Truth or Myth edition. Glossary or ABC of legal terms. Number 1, A. A for adjournment. Adjournment means postponing a court hearing. Is that truth or myth? Adjournment, A for adjournment, meaning ipopostpone ng isang hearing na nakalist na nakaschedule na. Is that truth or myth? Number 2 or letter B, para tayong nagbibingo lang, B for bankruptcy order or bankruptcy. A bankruptcy order would also mean a criminal sentencing against you. Totoo ba yan o myth lang? So pag may bankruptcy order daw, meaning yan, merong criminal sentencing din na mangyayari para sa iyo or against you. Totoo ba or myth? Number 3 or letter C. C for consent order. Consent order is a judge-approved order setting out the terms agreed by the parties themselves. So, ang consent order daw isang order na naaprubahan ng judge na ang nilalaman kung ano yung areglo na pag-areglohan ng dalawang partido o ng mga partido. Totoo ba? O myth o haka-haka lang? Number 4. Now on letter D. D for duty of disclosure. Duty of disclosure relates to your duty to make available documents related to the case, but only those that are advantageous to you. Totoo ba? Truth or myth? So, ang duty of disclosure ang inyong which is duty to present those documents, make available those documents na related sa kaso, pero yung mga pabor lang sa iyo. Totoo ba o hindi? Truth or myth? Number 5, letter E. Executor. Executor is someone named in the will who will carry out the directions of the will. So, executor or E for executor is someone na nilagay dun sa will ng isang tao who will have to carry out the directions of the will. If you're just tuning in, nandito po tayo, alphabetical order ng glossary of legal terms are truth or myth. Last week, ang tema is numbers. So now we're moving on to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. And you will have to guess or make an educated guess if it's truth or myth. Letter F na po tayo. F for fee earners. Fee earners are employee of the firms who deliver legal services. So fee earners now, if you hear that term, is a wide connotation for empleyado ng isang legal firm who deliver legal services. Truth or myth? Number 7, letter G. G for grounds. So grounds are the basis or foundation of a legal action. So, grounds daw ang tinatawag na basihan o pundasyon ng isang kaso. Totoo ba o hindi? Truth or myth? Number 8, we are now at H. H for hearsay evidence. Hearsay evidence is evidence given in court of something said to the witness by another person. So parang sa atin, sa colloquial term ng Pilipino, hearsay evidence, marites ba yan? Yung sinabi lang, it's an evidence given by this witness. Pero sinabi lang pala sa kanya yung evidence na yon. Is that hearsay evidence? Totoo ba yan? Or haka-haka lang? Myth. Number 9, I for the letter I for intestate. Intestate. A term for inter-counties cases or cases that goes across county level. So intestate is a term for inter-counties cases or cases that goes across county level. Truth or myth? And number 10, letter J, joint liability. So joint liability. It's where two or more people are liable for the same obligation, but they can never be sued individually and must be sued collectively. Totoo ba yan o hindi? That's joint liability. If you've just tuned in, don't worry. I will go through the 10 statements. This is the ABC edition of Glossary of Legal Terms. And you can review your answer as well before tayo mag-exchange of paper and checking of answers. So very, very quickly. A for adjournment. That means now postponing a court hearing. Truth or myth? B for bankruptcy order. Bankruptcy order would also mean a criminal sentencing against you. Truth or myth? C for consent order, which is a judge-approved order setting out the terms agreed by the parties themselves. D for duty of disclosure, which relates to your duty to make available documents related to a case, but only those that are favorable to you. E for executor, someone named in the will who will carry out the directions of the will. F for fee earners, employee of the firms who deliver legal services. G for grounds, the basis or foundation of an action. Truth or myth ba yan? Nandito pa rin tayo. You have to still, the reason why I'm stating this is kailangan nyo pong hulaan kung truth or myth yan. And I will explain later kung bakit truth, bakit myth, at kung saan nyo siya normally maririnig yung term na yan. We are at H, hearsay evidence. Evidence given in court of something said to the witness by another person. So that's an evidence na sinasabi ng witness pero narinig niya lang daw, sinabi lang sa kanya. 9, intestate, a term for inter-counties cases or cases that goes across county level. Number 10, joint liability, where two or more people are liable for the same obligation, but they can never be sued individually and must be sued collectively. Truth or myth? Now, exchange papers or check your own. Honesty is the best policy, and we'll share answers later. And then hopefully next time you'll hear this sa Newsman, sa dito sa Legal Advice Corner, or sa social media, you'll remember, oo nga, no, ito yung glossary of terms last week dun sa Legal Advice Corner, truth or myth. Number 1, adjournment means postponing a court hearing. Yes, that's true, and that is that's the legal technical term that you will see when the court makes an order. So mo siya makikita mo siya sa court order. So if you are in a court action these days, at finorward ng abogado mo yung piece of paper and it says adjourned. The case is adjourned to the first open date after 30th of August 2023. That means na na-postpone yung hearing. That's what we call an adjournment. Hindi yan dismiss, hindi pa tapos ang kaso, na reschedule lang, na-postpone yung hearing. Okay? Adjournment, A for adjournment equals postponement. That's true. Number 2, B for bankruptcy order. It would also mean a criminal sentencing against you. That is a myth. So bankruptcy order, saan natin makikita to? Still in civil court. So yung mga county court natin dito sa United Kingdom, they also act as a bankruptcy court. So dun din napaprocess yung mga bankruptcy petition. If someone wants you bankrupt. Bankruptcy relates to individual. If it's against the company, it's called liquidation. So iba yon. That's another term, pero hindi natin na-cover kasi 10 lang yung terms natin ngayon and hanggang J lang tayo. But bankruptcy is only a civil matter. Hindi po yan na parang estafa na makukulong kayo. It's just a civil matter. So that's why it's a myth. It doesn't involve a criminal sentencing. It is a judgment in the civil court. C for consent order, which you may have heard a number of times in this show. Consent order is a judge-approved order setting out the terms agreed by the parties themselves. Truth or myth? Of course, that is true. So consent order, you will hear that across all the courts. So civil courts, family courts, you will hear that being used when you're talking about finances. Nag-areglo na kayo kung paano nyo hahatiin yung ari-arian yung mag-asawa after divorce. If during the hearing, nag-agree din kayo using the previous term, mag-adjourn. Sabihin nyo, may sakit yung isang may COVID or hindi available yung isang witness. Can we adjourn? Can we have an adjournment by consent? So the operative word is a consent. So a consent order is really anything that between you guys, between the parties, you have agreed and you tell the judge, please, can you approve this? When the judge approves that, it becomes a consent order. And it's very, very clear on that paper. Upon the parties agreeing the terms below by consent, the judge orders as follows. Because ultimately, judge pa rin na mag-a-aproba ng kahit nag-agree na kayo, nag-areglo na kayo, if you are under the remit, the jurisdiction of the judiciary of the United Kingdom. What does that mean? Nag-umpisa na kayo ng kaso. So kung may gusto kayong gawin, kailangan pa rin aprubahan ng judge. So kung gusto niyo i-move yung hearing or kung gusto niyo mag-areglo, mag-settle, that would need to be approved. But that is called a consent order. So you will hear that civil, kung nag-settle kayo ng bayaran ng utang, for example, and you say, okay, sige, bibigyan kita ng discount. That's a consent order kung tatapusin nyo na yon. The same with finances sa divorce, the same then. Consent order then ang tawag doon. Okay, so true. Number 3 is true. Number 4, duty of disclosure. Pakinggan nyo po mabuti. Relates to your duty to make available documents related to a case, but only those that are advantageous to you. Truth or myth? That is a myth, and the reason is duty of disclosure. I will say kung ano yung totoo dun sa sentence na yon. Relates to your duty to make available documents related to the case. Totoo yan. But only those that are advantageous to you, that is a myth. Duty of disclosure is absolute. It is full and frank disclosure. So both in civil and family cases, when you say, well, what's my duty of disclosure? It's everything that relates to the case, whether in your favor or not in your favor. So at some point in the proceedings, both in civil and family court, you will be required by the court to produce a list of documents in civil, or in financial, in divorce, they will ask you to produce it quite early on via filling a form, yung mga financial disclosures nyo. But one thing remains consistent, it has to be lahat ng dokumento. So, bawal magtago ng dokumento na hindi advantageous sa iyo. So, duty of disclosure is full and frank. That's the reason why that statement is a myth. Dahil that statement says na, oh, yung ano lang, yung nakakabuti lang sa atin ang ibigay natin as duty of disclosure. No. So, 4 is a myth. Number 5, letter E, executor. Executor is someone named in the will who will carry out the directions of the will. Truth or myth? Of course, that is true. Again, it's a term that we've used in this legal advice corner. Saan mo makikita yan? Makikita mo parate sa will. You will see that when you read a will. When you're asking someone to draft a will for you, they will say, who do you want to be the executor? Sino yung mapagkakatiwalaan mo na magka-carry out ng wishes mo sa will? So you can appoint someone. Sometimes they will have professional executors, like lawyers. They will say, well, I want my lawyer to do this. And I want, normally 2 executors. So I want this person or this other professional contact. So 5 is truth. Number 6, fee earners. F for fee earners are employees of the firm who deliver legal services. That is true. That is a wider term. So many lawyers obviously deliver legal terms. But fee earners would also would be a wider term kasi pwede ding yung mga paralegal who's not yet fully qualified, and sometimes conveyancing executives who's not necessarily falling under the definition of a solicitor or a lawyer. They can still deliver legal services, depende sa kung ano yung allowed sila, and they can charge for their time. Saan mo makikita tong term na to na fee earner na to? Makikita mo po yan sa inyong client care letter or yung terms of engagement. Makikita mo po kung ano yung rate ng mga fee earner. Lawyer is this per hour, or a solicitor is this per hour. Depende minsan sa seniority din. Makikita mo a solicitor with PQE, which is post-qualified experience of 5 years above, post-qualified experience of 3 years, ganito yung hourly rate. A paralegal who will work on your case, probably on just on other matters, will carry out the work at this hourly rate. So that's where you will get, you will see this fee earner mention. You will also see as conveyancing as well when you know, most of the time when you look at, as I've said, yung terms of engagement, kung sino yung fee earner sa kaso mo, at ano yung kanilang mga role and responsibility. So don't worry, ano yung fee earner, ano yung meaning na yan? So wider term, kung ano yung team, who comprises your legal team. That's probably the best way to imagine it. And that is true. So I've said 6 is true. Number 7, G. G for grounds. The basis or foundation of a legal action. That is true. And that is, again, a legal term that they use. The grounds of appeal or the grounds of this argument. What are the grounds of your application? What are the grounds of your position? Why are you taking that position? It's a very common legal term that we use. Grounds, minsan, di ba sa normal conversation, grounds is like lupa, the grounds, the field. In legal term, it is really your submission. It could be your submission, your basis, the legal basis of your claim. Where do you see this? You will see this in documents. You will see this in court forms. Court forms might ask it. What are the grounds of your application? You will see it in your lawyer's submissions. You will see it in your lawyer's position statement as well. So makikita mo yun. So pag nakita mo yan, okay, ito pala yung basis. Ito pala yung pinaglalaban namin at bakit namin pinaglalaban. Okay? So 7 is true. Number 8, hearsay evidence. Evidence given in court of something said to the witness by another person. That is true. So, my analogy is parang marites lang, or not necessarily gossip in that term, but it was only so. For example, how does it work? Hearsay evidence is, for example, I'm giving evidence to the court that somebody like Mr. Laragan said to me that Direk Pola is currently in, for example, nasa Spain daw si Direk Pola. So I don't actually know. I've not seen Direk na nasa Spain. I didn't see it with my own eyes. I've not spoken with Direk Pao with my own eyes. Ang nagsabi lang sa akin is si Mr. Laragan. So that is hearsay evidence. Sinabi lang ng someone else. What's the weight? Kaya ano ba yan? Uncommon na tanong ng mga kliyente, pwede ba yan? Ano bang gagawin ng judge? Ang paniniwalaan ba yan? It depends. I think the judge, it is up to the judge to attach weight to it. Depende siguro when they read the entirety of the evidence, the entire picture, the tapestry of the evidence as we call it. Kung nag-fit ba siya dun sa picture na pinapresent ng this party or the other party. So it's up to the judge how much weight is given there. There are certain technical points about hearsay evidence. We will talk about it, but at the moment, glossary of terms lang, hearsay evidence, yes, it is possible it's evidence given in court of something said to the witness. Sinabi lang sa akin by another person. Sinabi ni Mr. Laragan, nakita ko si Direk Pao sa Spain. That would be considered hearsay evidence. Number 9, intestate, a term for inter-countess cases or cases that goes across county level. That is myth. Gawa-gawa ko lang po yan. Ang intestate is wherein an individual dies without leaving a will, which comes from a term called intestacy. So and that's the same, I think that's the same term that's used in other jurisdictions. The same din po sa Pilipinas. Number 10, letter J for joint liability, where 2 or more people are liable for the same obligation, but they can never be sued individually and must be sued collectively. That is a myth. We've heard this joint liability in contracts, tenancy agreements most of the time. So yes, contractual setting. Why is it a myth? Totoo na it involves 2 or more people being liable for the same obligation, but hindi po totoo na they can never be sued individually. Actually, it is up to the claimant. If they want to sue individually, individual lang who has the deepest pocket, or they want to sue everyone. But the fact remains that it can be enforced, that liability can be enforced kahit against dun lang sa isang tao. Kay Juan lang, hindi kay Maria. It doesn't have to be Juan and Maria. Depende lang kung ano yung gusto ng naghahabol. So yes, that's it. I will again list, anuhin ko lang kung ano. Number 1 is true. 2nd is myth or false. 3 is true. 4 is false or myth. 5 is true. 6 is true. 7 is true. 8 is true. 9 is false or myth. And 10 is myth or false. So, Mr. Laragan, what?